Shaz here, back with another recap of Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 7. But before we get into it, if you like my t-shirt, I will put a link in the description box. Please support local. This is made by a really good friend of mine. Shout out to Aiton. And he makes t-shirts, beanies, tracksuits, whatever, you name it. He's got it. Check it out. But let's get back into Married at First Sight. So we pick up right where we left off in episode 6. Lauren and Orion are at dinner when things took a bit of a turn.
So how do you feel that I had sex 2 months ago?
It kind of took sex off the table for me.
Yep, we had that awkward moment where Lauren revealed that she was intimate 2 months before they got married, and Orion did not take it well at all. Lauren's feeling a little bit judged in this moment, and I don't blame her. I think she's being judged a little bit. What do you guys think? Anyway, she's kind of saying, okay, that happened, so why suddenly is intimacy off the table for them?
Well, that's not the reason, but it does play a part.
Okay, now I'm confused again.
I'm confused too. So what's the other part?
I still feel like there's a lot of steps of getting to know each other. I don't want sex to be a checked-off thing with it.
So 1 minute they are talking about their preferences when it comes to intimacy. The next thing, Lauren tells him that she was intimate 2 months ago. And the next thing, it's off the table for Ryan. Sounds fishy to me.
I think we should just have a quiet meal. I have nothing else to add about sex.
Awkward.
Right, but we still have to figure this out.
So Ryan won't let this go. He wants to have this conversation. He wants to get this sorted.
I think this is a valuable conversation too, and clearly one that needs more conversation on. Like, we need ample time to discuss this.
But Lauren's having none of this. She is not in the zone. She is not ready to have this conversation right now.
Then I guess I really have nothing else to say.
So from one awkward conversation to another.
I think we had a nice talk about where we've been and like where we're headed.
I feel like now we can maybe move into the next phase of conversation.
Emily wants to move into more serious topics, she wants to talk about religion.
Catholic, but fake Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised Jewish.
I definitely don't want kids to be Catholic, so...
So Emily is a fake Catholic, and she doesn't want her kids growing up Catholic, so she's open to, converting to Judaism.
Really? Wow.
But on to even more serious topics of conversation.
Oh, but what about kids?
They would both love 2 kids. They'd both love it if they had a boy or a girl, but they are not the only couple talking about religion.
I don't know what that is. Never heard of religion. We should talk about that.
Austin really isn't in the mood to discuss religion over breakfast, so they save it for later.
I was raised Jewish, but I'm personally agnostic.
I'm just plain old Christian. We might have differences in those areas now.
Becca and Austin feel like because they've got such a good foundation and they're learning so much about each other, it won't be an issue going forward.
We will be able to get through a lot.
Meanwhile, Emily and Brennan are enjoying themselves at the resort. They've got their drinks, they're playing some games, they're really making the most of their Cancun honeymoon. But things quickly take a turn.
Do you know how to have fun?
Yeah. Wait, did you not see that? Why did you ask that? Do you like to have fun?
I was just joking.
Yeah, Brennan's not amused.
I know you like to have fun. I'm just kidding.
And he just cannot let it go.
Do you like to have fun? What the God.
Oh my God, sorry.
Wow, he seems really sensitive about this, right? Anyway, what are Cameron and Clay up to?
Yeah, I didn't sleep. Yeah, it feels like someone's pushing a sharp object into the side of my head.
Seems that Cameron injured his ear somehow the day before, so he's going to go to the doctor and check that out. But in the meantime, they are talking about when they leave Cancun and start real life together.
I think when we live together, we're gonna be great at it.
no, it's going to be hard. It's just going to be a lot of change, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
They talk about the fact that they're quite independent, but they're feeling optimistic about living together and sort of building their lives together. And they seem to be in a really good place.
The attraction is developing and it's growing, and so it's just kind of a relief for me that we've been able to get to that point.
Unlike these two. Chilly vibes. But Ryan's still confused as to why Lauren is confused.
If you feel like, you know, this whole sex being off the table is because you had sex.
Yes, I feel that way because you said that.
Okay, so he didn't exactly say that, but it's heavily implied because he mentioned that intimacy is off the table after she mentioned being intimate 2 months before they got married. So, of course, she made that connection.
It's not off the table because of that.
So why'd you say that?
Yeah, Ryan, why do you say that?
I mean, because it's, you know, kind of the truth.
I'm so confused. So confused.
You're finally starting to tell the truth. So why is it
I've
the
always
truth?
been truthful.
Why is that?
Well, because you were engaged, were you not?
And there we have it. He just can't get over the fact that she was intimate 2 months before they got married because in his mind, they were already engaged.
I guess, you know, I don't feel comfortable with the fact that, you know, you did sleep with somebody else.
And because of this, he's kind of judging her intentions in the whole process and in the marriage.
Why does that make my intentions not as pure as yours?
But I am not judging you.
Oh, I think you are.
No, I just felt very uncomfortable that you had did that. That is the truth of it.
So they sleep it off, they go to bed, they do let us know that they had a bit more discussion, Ryan got quite emotional, but the next day they are being super polite.
And I'm not going to hold that moment against you or hold it over our marriage because that's not fair.
But I think everything that you were feeling is fair.
You know what they say, all's fair in love and war. But it looks like they've come to a good place. It looks like they are kind of forgiving each other for everything that was said the night before, and they really want to work on it and move forward together.
You know, we got this.
But there are still some issues.
Orion is still feeling like he failed the marriage and failed me.
So they're doing what anyone should in this kind of moment. They are calling in an expert and they are calling Dr. Pia.
So tell me what's going on?
She had had sex 2 months prior to, you know, our marriage. You know, and right now it's heavy.
It feels like Ryan's really feeling guilty about how he made Lauren feel the night before. And this is great. You know, he's taking some accountability for it. And it looks like Lauren is really there and being supportive in that moment.
But right now, I'm having a really hard time just feeling confident in that, you know, just because of how intense and how raw the emotions were last night.
Or maybe not. It seems that things got a little bit uncomfortable for Ryan when sort of emotions started to get a bit elevated when they were having their discussion the night before.
I had to protect my mom and sister from my stepfather growing up.
What I'm taking from this is that when Lauren, you know, started having her own real emotions and expressing them, that it kind of triggered him, took him back to sort of a childhood memory. So yeah, this is a toughie.
Yeah, I know that in the heat of the moment, my tone does elevate, but I get a little bit more animated when I'm frustrated and when I'm not feeling heard.
Can Dr. Pia offer any words of advice?
Focus on having fun.
So that's the advice from the expert. Enjoy each other, have fun.
I think, I would think that space would be helpful.
So it looks like they're not going to follow her advice. Anyway, that evening, all the couples get together for dinner and, you know, they're catching up and they're asking about what everybody did that day. Orion shares that they had a session with Dr. Pia and, yeah, Lauren's a little bit frosty.
Probably our first hurdle of...
Second hurdle.
Yeah, so we've been communicating through that and giving each other clarity in it.
And lots of space.
Yeah.
Luckily, at that moment, Cameron arrives back from the doctor and he's got a beautiful, massive bouquet of flowers for Claire.
That was so, so sweet. I will not cry, but that was sweet.
And they all reflect on their honeymoon and their time in Cancun together.
We had fun. I'm good.
Our honeymoon has been a little bit of a roller coaster, I'd say.
For me, I feel like the honeymoon is going way better than I could have ever expected.
Really?
My jokes don't always land where they're supposed to, and I sometimes speak without consideration.
Let's go back to the conversation in the jacuzzi. I don't know if she should be talking about it like it was a joke.
The unintentional joke, it cut really deep.
Very interesting. This tells us that a lot of the arguments they've been having about the intimacy stuff and so on is layered with that conversation they had in the jacuzzi.
It's still a big obstacle.
It's the next day and time to head on home.
We get to move in.
I can't wait to go home and get back to my routine. I think I've been really missing that.
And while some of our couples are looking forward to seeing how they work in real life, Lauren and Orion seem to have a late, heavy night.
He let me know that he's just not sure if he can come back from the offensive comment I made in the hot tub.
I felt like a minority in my marriage.
What a way to end the honeymoon.
The other couples are packing up, they're getting ready to have one last breakfast together before they fly back home to Denver, and Lauren's having a moment.
Sure, and I'm just like, how many more ways can I say I'm sorry?
It's just interesting now, honestly. I did not even fathom.
I find it quite interesting, Claire's point of view, that he's being hard, and she finds it interesting, kind of like that he should just let it go. And I don't know if that's just a perspective from a particular demographic of person. And, as a minority, we maybe feel differently about comments like that. I'd be really interested to know your thoughts on this.
Had this huge blow up with him in which I was yelling and I asked for a divorce because he told me that he feels like I failed him and I failed the marriage.
That Orion went from sort of saying he feels guilty, he feels like he failed Lauren and failed the marriage, he seems to be turning it on her now and saying, well, she failed. Orion decides he needs to bring in another expert, so he gets on a call with Pastor Cull. He's my favorite.
She made a very careless, crude joke. I was really starting to feel, honestly, really offended and violated in it.
Pastor Cull validates Orion's feelings, right? He explains he gets it, he knows that Lauren gets it. He sort of establishes that Lauren did apologize, but now it comes to the crux of whether Orion accepts her apology or not.
I think there needs to be a conversation where we all can talk about this and we can come to some conclusion.
So while everyone's waiting for the car for the transfer to take them to the airport so they can go back to Denver, they bring Lauren into the conversation.
I asked him if we were good on that conversation we had in the tub, and he told me we're good. Next thing I know, he's not good. We got into an argument, and then he says that I failed him and I failed the marriage. I did say what I did. I said that it was a joke and extreme. I don't even want to say poor taste. That makes it sound, minimize it on.
So Lauren's really emotional, and I get it, right? They had the conversation in the jacuzzi, in the hot tub, whatever. Lauren's apologized for it. She's been doing what she can. She's been doing some research. She, is feeling really apologetic about it. But at the same time, when she checked with Orion, he kind of said, yeah, it's good, they're good. He's sort of moved on from it, but it's obviously still an issue and it's kind of being used against her now. So anyway, Pastor Cull is kind of, I need to speak to both of you, get Orion back in the room.
You not only offended me and violated my culture, but I also feel like you offended my family, and that's where I feel like you don't get it.
There's nothing else I can do. There's nothing more remorse. There's nothing I can do.
And you can just see, it's just so frustrating for Lauren. She's tried to explain, she does understand, she does get it, she owns the fact that she should never have made the comment, she should never have made a joke. She just feels like totally defeated.
But I can't move past this.
And Pastor Carl just gets to the crux of the matter.
Are you saying you cannot forgive her?
I can't do it.
So, guys, that's it for episode 7. What a heavy episode. I'm dying to hear what you guys thought of it. Do you feel like he should have given her some grace? Do you feel like he should have been a little bit more forgiving of her? Or do you feel she deserves it? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed this recap, please give the video a like. Please don't be shy to subscribe to my channel. We'll be back with episode 8 when they are back in the hometowns. But until then, stay awesome. Love you lots. Bye.